Sooner or later, we're going to see cases of this new variant here in the United States.
Today, President Biden met with his coronavirus response team to develop a plan for the new Omicron variant. Find out what we know about the variant and hear more from the President's America response coming up.
The state of Mississippi made a major expansion in booster shot eligibility today. We'll tell you if you can get a booster shot in the Magnolia State.
And Twitter founder and CEO Jack Dorsey announced his resignation today. Find out why he's stepping away straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Darielle Johnson.
I'm Mason Ciano. Governor Reeves held a pro-life prayer event yesterday at New Horizon Church in Jackson. The Pray Together for Life event comes as the Supreme Court gears up to hear oral arguments in Dobbs v. Women's Health. The case will require the court to rule on the constitutionality of Mississippi's law banning most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. It is the first time the court will decide a pre-viability abortion ban since Roe v. Wade. Reeves said at the event that he believes there is no right to an abortion in the U.S. Constitution, nor a restriction on states' ability to limit abortions. The Supreme Court will begin hearing Dobbs v. Women's Health on Wednesday.
Eligibility for COVID-19 booster shots has been expanded to all adults 18 and over in Mississippi. Booster shots are used to maintain your immunity, which can decrease over time. You can get a booster shot of Pfizer or Moderna if you are at least 18 years old, fully vaccinated, and it's been at least 6 months since your last shot of either vaccine. If you are fully vaccinated with Johnson & Johnson, you can get your booster at least 2 months after your last shot. Be sure to bring your COVID vaccine card for your appointment. Appointments can be made through covidvaccine.umc.edu or by calling the COVID-19 hotline.
The State Department of Health is reporting 990 new COVID cases and 2 new deaths for November 24th through 28th. That's a daily average of 198 for the holiday weekend, down significantly from the 1,187 cases and 11 deaths reported for the previous weekend, November 19th through 21st, which was a daily average of nearly 400. Here on campus, there are just 3 active confirmed cases, with 2 staff and 1 student contracting the virus. The state's COVID totals now stand at over 513,000 cases and over 10,200 deaths. 1.4 million Mississippians are fully vaccinated.
The Delta variant wave may be over, but now health officials have their eye on the latest variant, which they fear may be a similar threat. CNN's Britt Conway has the details on the Omicron variant.
Prepare for the worst.
We don't know that much yet.
Clearly more questions than answers at this point.
Questions about the COVID-19 variant Omicron, first identified in South Africa and declared a variant of concern by the World Health Organization Friday. At least a dozen countries have reported cases, and multiple countries, including the U.S., are shutting their doors to South Africa and its neighbors as health experts around the world scramble to learn more about the variant.
We're hearing conflicting stories, some saying it's causing mild illness, others saying that there are some severe cases in hospitals in South Africa.
We don't know yet as to whether this is more contagious than the Delta variant. Is it more deadly? We don't know. And we also don't know what is the level of protection that our existing vaccines offer against this new variant.
I think our vaccines will hold up. The question is, how much of a hit to their effectiveness will it take? We don't know.
At the White House Sunday, the president met with his COVID-19 response team, where Dr. Anthony Fauci said it would be about 2 more weeks to have more definitive information on the transmissibility, severity, and other characteristics of the variant. In the meantime, experts say we need to be proactive with vaccinations and boosters.
We've made so much progress when it comes to COVID. It would be really devastating if we let it go at this point.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
While there are no confirmed cases of the Omicron variant in the U.S. right now, many health officials think that there are likely undetected Omicron cases already here.
Today, President Biden and his coronavirus response team discussed a plan to address the new variant, despite how little is known about it right now. The president then held a press conference to break down the White House response.
Today, there are 3 messages about the new variant that I want the American people to hear. First, This variant is a cause for concern, not a cause for panic. Second, the best protection, I know you're tired of hearing me say this, is getting fully vaccinated and getting a booster shot. Third, in the event, hopefully unlikely, that updated vaccinations or boosters are needed to respond to this new variant, we will accelerate their development and deployment with every available tool.
The Biden administration is pushing vaccines as the best way to fight the Omicron variant and is not suggesting another wave of lockdowns.
Since the first wave of lockdowns at the start of the pandemic, the job market has been struggling, and now as employers work to find people to fill openings, they're facing another challenge: workers resigning at record rates. CNN's Vanessa Yurkovich has a deep dive into what people are calling the Great Resignation.
A simple task. Kate Santangelo picks up her 7-year-old daughter Grace from school, something she's waited years to do.
Do you recall how often you were able to pick your daughter up from school?
Oh my gosh, never.
But that all changed in April. She quit her 15-year career in sales to be home full-time with her kids.
I was working endless hours and traveling a lot.
If COVID didn't happen, do you think that you still would have quit your job?
No, I think I'd still be there. Yeah, without a doubt.
She's one of millions quitting the workforce in recent months. A record 4.4 million quits in September. It's being called the Great Resignation.
We had so much time that, we had to be sitting in our homes and spending time with people that we live with and just shifting priorities.
And she's one of 4.7 million business applications filed from January through October of this year, a 34% increase from the same time period in 2019. She founded Monmouth Moms, a resource guide for parents.
It allows me to take off if I need to bring, my kids to the doctor or, offer more flexibility in terms of when I can even schedule appointments for them.
It's not just moms leaving the workforce. Americans are retiring in greater numbers too.
What am I looking at behind you guys right now?
That's our RV. Yeah, that's our RV. You got it in the background.
Scott and Mary Banks retired early this September at 57 and 59 respectively and are road tripping across the country.
Packed up, strapped down, and ready to head down the road.
Scott quit his finance job. Mary left real estate.
I said, what would you think if we did it now instead of waiting 3 more years?
And I'm like, I pushed all my chips in. I'm all in.
1.5 million Americans were on pace to retire during the pandemic. Instead, that number more than doubled to 3.6 million.
And it was just that thought of, gosh, wouldn't it be just a tragedy if we spent all this time working for our retirement and then right near the finish line, you catch a horrible disease and die and never get to enjoy your retirement.
So they capitalized on the hot housing market, sold their home, and hit the road.
How is life on the road compared to the jobs that you left behind?
Gosh, I wish I could say it was tough, but no, it's great. I do not miss at all working right now.
But it isn't all bad news for the job market. Employment rates are still rising, and last month's job report exceeded experts' predictions.
Back in Mississippi, the 2022 session of the state legislature could see some changes to the felony voting ban. After a 2008 bill that passed the state house failed in the Senate, House member Nick Bain, a Corinth Republican, is attempting to make the state's laws fairer in restoring voting rights to citizens with past felony convictions. Over 40 states have laws that automatically restore voting rights for felons after their sentence is completed. The change could come via an amendment to the 1890 state constitution, which would require a 2/3 vote by the House and Senate, as well as a voter referendum. The other option is a simple legislative bill, although it is unclear whether the Constitution allows it. Alternatively, the state Supreme Court could rule the voting ban unconstitutional. Recently in Florida, voters overwhelmingly approved an initiative removing that state's permanent felon voting ban.
The newest addition to Oxford's wide array of eats, Walk-On Sports Bistro, will be opening next Monday, December 6th. Walk-Ons was founded by former LSU walk-on basketball player turned CEO Brandon Landry in 2003. Now the Walk-Ons brand is rapidly spreading across the U.S. This Walk-Ons will be the 3rd in Mississippi and the 59th system-wide. They will be open Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to midnight. The first 100 guests in line will be entered into a drawing for the chance to win free walk-ons for a year. The winner will be drawn and announced on opening day.
If you're an Oxford coffee lover, you've got yet another thing to be thankful for this holiday season. Dunkin' Donuts, now known simply as Dunkin', is set to open next year at the site of the current UPS building at 1739 University Avenue. Dunkin' franchisee Stephen Addard told Hotty Toddy that he hopes the business will be operating within 6 months, but due to supply chain issues, it could be longer. Oxford joins just 4 cities in Mississippi that call Dunkin' home: Pearl, Gulfport, South Haven, and Biloxi. Addard said the location will offer the full menu, meaning that soon Oxford will run on Dunkin'.
Coming up, the Facebook whistleblower is set to make a return to Capitol Hill to testify against the tech giant again. We'll break down the details of that hearing and more. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With a unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuck.
Oh. Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Not sure anyone has heard, but I resigned from Twitter was the bombshell resignation announcement from former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey earlier today, coming via tweet. Dorsey, who co-founded the social media giant and steered it for over 15 years, leaves after an especially controversial period that saw the banning of a sitting U.S. president and his fiery interactions with politicians like Ted Cruz over the app's decision to block the New York Post's Hunter Biden story last October. Outside of political tensions, Dorsey had been pressured to depart as CEO because of his additional role as CEO of mobile credit card processor Square. Twitter's chief technology officer, Para Agrawal, will take over the CEO role.
Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen is set to testify before a House subcommittee Wednesday. This comes after Haugen leaked what have been called the Facebook papers to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In tens of thousands of pages, those internal documents shine a spotlight on the social media giant's problems, including hate speech and misinformation, groups using the platform to cause real-world violence and dangers non-English speaking users face in politically unstable parts of the world. Facebook claims that documents leaked provide a skewed image of the company's research and efforts.
Today marks day one of jury selection in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell is accused of acting as an accomplice to Jeffrey Epstein in the sex trafficking of underage girls. Maxwell has denied any involvement in Epstein's crimes. The trial is being conducted in New York and is expected to last about 6 weeks, although Maxwell could face another court date next year on perjury charges.
And another high-profile case got underway today with the jury selection as actor Jussie Smollett appeared in court in Chicago today. The 39-year-old is accused of lying to the police about being the victim of a hate crime. Nearly 2 years ago, in January of 2019, Smollett reported he was attacked by two men who yelled anti-gay and racist remarks, put a noose around his neck, and poured bleach on him. Authorities later accused him of paying two acquaintances to stage the attack to boost his career. He has pleaded not guilty to 6 counts of disorderly conduct. If found guilty, he faces up to 3 years in prison and a $25,000 fine for each charge.
This Thanksgiving weekend set a record for air travel during the pandemic. It was nearly a pre-coronavirus Thanksgiving in terms of flight. Over the course of the entire weekend, 20.9 million people passed through airport security. That's 89% of the travel levels from before the pandemic. Sunday was a particularly big travel day, with 2.45 million people taking to the skies. That's double the number of people who flew on the Sunday of last Thanksgiving weekend, and it's also the heaviest travel day since the pandemic began.
And it's Cyber Monday. Since 2005, the first workday after Thanksgiving has been known as Cyber Monday. Since then, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday is spread over several days, with many sales starting the weekend before. Some retail experts believe supply chain issues may actually encourage more people to shop in physical stores instead of online this year. Shipping issues with some online orders last Christmas may have contributed to that. Nevertheless, as mobile and social continues to play a larger role in buying decisions, cyber shopping is expected to increase to $3 billion in sales this year.
Coming up in sports, the Rebel football team left Starkville feeling very thankful as they knocked off the Bulldogs in the Egg Bowl. And Rebel defensive lineman Sam Williams garnered a lot of attention following his final Egg Bowl in a Rebel uniform. Find out more up next in sports.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
On October 15, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing.
We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
Times during class, and I tell her to talk to him, and it's like, oh, ew.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
It was a good day to be a Rebel on Thursday night after Ole Miss brought the egg back home following a huge win over Mississippi State. Getting a win is always fun, but even sweeter when it's against your rival. The number 9 ranked Rebels dominated in victory, keeping the Bulldogs out of the end zone for over 52 minutes. Matt Corral completed 26 of 34 passes for 234 yards, and with the help of Jerry and Ely, Ole Miss was able to get the 31-21 win in Starkville. In arguably the most important drive of the game, State had 3 drops in the end zone right before half. And with the help of Sam Williams and Chance Campbell, the Landshark defense was able to silence that air raid offense. This win marked the first ever 10-win season for Ole Miss. The Rebels will wait to hear which New Year's Six bowls they will head to, but the important thing is, we're going bowling. And this electric performance by the Landshark defense earned senior defensive lineman Sam Williams his second SEC Weekly accolade of the season. Earlier this year, he was named SEC Co-Defensive Lineman of the Week after the big win over LSU. Against Mississippi State, Williams had 2 sacks and helped lead the defense in the Egg Bowl. This was enough to earn him SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. This also marked 12.5 sacks on the year for the Montgomery, Alabama native and moved to 3rd in the career record book with 22.5 career sacks. Sam Williams now ranks 7th all-time at Ole Miss in career tackles for loss with 32.5. Onto the court, the women's basketball team is off to a very hot start. The Rebels traveled to Berkeley, California last week to face their first road test of the season at the Bar Classic. Ole Miss opened up the tournament with a 62-48 win over San Diego State. This win advanced them to the tournament championship to face Cal. The Rebels easily handled the undefeated Cal team and came out with the win. This marks the very first in-season tournament win since the Nugget Classic back in 2014. And this all was done with the help of Shakira Austin, who earned her 5th double-double of the season. Looking ahead to postseason play, the Ole Miss volleyball team earned a bid to the NCAA tournament for only the 4th time in program history. The Rebels are set to take on number 14 Creighton on December 2nd at 7 p.m. in Omaha, Nebraska for the very first round of the tournament. Last year, Ole Miss struggled and finished the season only winning 1 game. Head coach Kayla Banworth has been very successful in only her 2nd year. The season was one to remember with Ole Miss' first 20-win season since 2013. The Rebs finished tied for 5th in the SEC with a 10-2 record. Getting to the postseason for volleyball is never easy, but when you have players like Kylie McLaughlin and Sasha Ratliff, things tend to work themselves out. McLaughlin and Ratliff were both named the All-SEC team on Sunday, marking the first time Ole Miss has had 2 student athletes named All-SEC. This season, McLaughlin has tallied over 1,000 assists, while Ratliff paced the team with a school record 112 assisted blocks. Sasha Ratliff also became the first Rebel since 2016 to be named the SEC Player of the Week. It's a good time to be a Rebel, and that's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Rebel_Watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Ruby. Coming up next on NewsWatch, another baby viral sensation, and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
We are rebels. For more than 160 years, we've been accomplishing the impossible, from conducting the world's first lung transplant to helping prove Einstein was right. From preserving the past to saving the future. We are Mississippi's flagship university, a place where passion and learning unite, where friends become family, where small-town charm meets world-class innovation. We are the University of Mississippi. We are Ole Miss.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on
it. Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
A baby in China hasn't mastered walking quite yet, but she's already quite the snowboarder.
Videos of the 11-month-old sliding down the slopes have gone viral, with her little face peeking out under all of her snow gear.
Her parents say they wanted to teach her how to ski and were surprised at how quickly their little girl could stand on the snowboard all on her own. You know, I've never skied in my life, but I'm pretty sure she can do it better than me.
Mason, I am a 252-month-old, and I can still barely walk, so kudos to her.
Quite impressive stuff. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, that's all we have for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Mason CNO.
And I'm Darielle Johnson. Make sure to follow us on social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest updates on the Oxford Ole Miss community.
Thank you and good night.